Good afternoon, or should I say good morning, and welcome into Cards Hub 365, sponsored by Gray Bar and presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm Ethan Hannaford, joined this morning by Joe Roderick. Joe, the Cardinals looking to win a series, something we haven't said in about a week since, well, the last time that the Redbirds were at home. We have not quite figured out how to make that happen on the road. That's going to have to wait. But the Cardinals do have the winning formula while playing at Busch Stadium. They're going to look to keep that winning formula this afternoon after a solid 3-2 victory yesterday to move to 9-4 at Busch Stadium. I don't know what's going on right now with these insane splits. Baseball is a weird sport, but the Cardinals are going to try to keep that formula as they've had here to start off the season in St. Louis.
Yeah, it's been a head scratcher, especially when you look at the teams that they have faced on the road. They're not, they face some good teams on the road, but it's not world beaters, and it's not teams that are, it's one of those unexplained things that you hope at some point during the season starts to even out a little bit, and not helpful that it's only a 3-game homestand and then they're right back out on the road next week before coming in and facing 2 tough teams back at Busch to start the month of May. It's again, last night though, they had the formula down. We have seen the struggles in the bullpen. It looked for a second like it was going to be an off night for some of their top guys when you look at how the innings started off, but they fought through, they powered through, and for the time being, it looks like that 7th, 8th, 9th inning of Leahy, Maton, and Helsley is the way to go. It's just, I mean, who the hell else is going to pitch? What other 4 guys do you have out there that are going to come and do anything for you in the bullpen?
You mentioned it. Matthew Liberatore, 6 innings last night. Once again, looks solid, but specifically the part that you mentioned, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, going to the relief corps for the Cardinals that has worked. Kyle Leahy, Phil Maton, and Ryan Helsley. It felt almost like this, looking through the box score, right? It's like, okay, well, what's worked for them so far, they were able to get contributions from them last night, but we know that they're not going to be able to continue relying on those 3 pieces every single day. So you got what you needed from those guys. It feels like today, it's like, okay, let's see if this bullpen can start building upon a win. Let's see if they can start getting contributions from guys that have been struggling so far. So while yesterday was a solid win, definitely as you continue moving in the right direction, as you continue to win ball games, you're going to have it be more and more from guys that haven't been those top 3 guys in the bullpen. So definitely positive strides, but a lot can be also, kept an eye. I should say you should be able to keep an eye on a lot of different things from these upcoming games here in these next 2 games. Whether you're at home or not, doesn't really matter. The Cardinals are going to have to rely on guys besides those 3 in order to win games, win this series. So let's hope that we see some things that are going to encourage us from the rest of the bullpen today outside of the guys that it's worked for so far this year.
Yeah, and you'd have to imagine Phil Maton is not going to be available today. He threw 26 pitches last night. I would guess that he is not going to be an option for you, even though they had the off day Thursday. Maybe you push him today and then you give him a full day off tomorrow, given the situation for that, or given the matchups that they play out. But only 18 pitches for Kyle Leahy, Ryan Helsley with 9. And think of how fewer pitches those could have been thrown yesterday in that game, in that situation with Matthew Liberatore. He started off the 7th inning. He gets the leadoff hitter. He gets Sam Frelick to pop up into foul territory, and absolutely unprecedented, just a straight up drop from Nolan Arenado was not I mean, for some, maybe a tough play. For Nolan Arenado, I mean, that's one that he makes 99 times out of 100, and the ball just hit off the tip of his glove. But then he turns right back around the next inning. Nolan Arenado, giveth away, and then he takes one right back. with that play, he made it home to throw out the runner at home in the 8th. So he did come back and got you one back at the end. But, Matthew Liberatore, I do wonder, and I don't know, were you there last night? Were you down?
I was not. I was not.
I wonder if I didn't see any quotes from Ollie or anything yesterday. I wonder if Liberatore gets that first out in the 7th inning, I wonder if they let him go another. I wonder if they keep letting him go and see it, because he was at 89 pitches. He would have been at 87, I think, if Arenado catches that ball when he does, because Frelick ends up singling a pitch or two later. So do you push him? Is Liberatore able to get you into the 90s in his pitch count? And do the Cardinals trust him to get to that point in the with his pitches too? I would have loved to know that, but I think they saw, okay, you know what? He gave up a runner. It's late in the game. All right, we have our 3 rested arms of the bullpen. Let's go to him and let's close this thing out.
I think a lot of it had to do with who they had available coming off of an off day, knowing that you had your best 3. There are times when Ollie Marmol, if he's throwing today or tomorrow instead of on Friday, where his bullpen is well rested and Marmol knows that he can rely on Leahy, Maton, and Helsley to get him through those final 3 innings. I think that had a lot to do with how he went about that. If you don't have those 3 guys available there, perhaps he's looking to lean on Liberatore a little bit more. So I think that's a point well made. I want to talk for a moment about that play that Nolan Arenado made in the top of the 8th inning, how impressive that was, but also how needed it felt like it was. And the reason I say that is because, we talked all about this team being, right, the thing that everyone had been saying was youngry, right? And Nolan Arenado isn't necessarily the young part of that anymore in the baseball term of things, right? But what we saw was some serious fire from him yesterday after he made that play. It clearly was energized. And that feels like the organization as a whole, that's something that hasn't necessarily been shown a lot on the outside, mostly because the team's just been struggling. I wonder, it's a play that takes guts, right, to be able to make. It's a play that I think a lot of these young guys can learn from, because I think when you begin to struggle, it can be easy to probably shell in a little bit, to box in a little bit more and want to make the safe play. I give kudos to Nolan Arenado for saying, no, I'm going to make the aggressive play, and I'm going to try and make the play that maybe perhaps helps get us out of this funk. I thought that what Nolan Arenado did last night, what that play represented, could be more. If the Cardinals end up, getting back on track here, that could be a play that ends up being a momentum churning play, I think, in the whole thing, if St. Louis is to turn things around, get hot here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at, it's just awareness. It's just the overall awareness that Nolan Arenado has, that he knows he can make that play, that he knows that he has the ability to make that throw and be on point with that, because that was a bang, bang play at home in that situation, knowing the runner, knowing the situation, and knowing how big of a play that was going to be for them. And just overall, I mean, yeah, you saw the emotion that he showed afterwards too, in that we haven't seen that emotion out of Arenado since the opening day home run out of him. That's, to fire up the team and get him going. And Friday night at Busch, you're going to get that kind of emotion out of you too. The crowd seemed to be into it last night, not anywhere near a packed house, but still it seemed like they were fired up by it as well. And that play kind of goes there. There were a few plays late in the game that were necessary like that. You think back to when Leahy came in and gives up the slow rolling ground ball with the bases loaded to Donovan. They have to concede the run there. But the very next guy, the broadcast is saying it's, you need a strikeout here. You need a strikeout here. And just an absolute missile hit at Mason Wynn. You're not running on Mason Wynn. You're not trying to run home and squeeze home that run on Mason Wynn. And that, again, that was a play that was much needed. I didn't see what the exit velo on that, but I mean, that was hit just a one hopper right at Wynn that you knew, okay, we're not going home on this one either. to get out of that situation there. And then the double play in the ninth, leadoff single off of Helsley on the very first pitch that Helsley throws. I mean, they were sitting dead red fastball on him and go the opposite way with it. And then the very next guy grounds into a double play, which also helps keep Ryan Helsley's pitch total low. I love when I see Ryan Helsley come out there and get those saves in less than 10 pitches. That is something that he has changed the last 2 years that has made me such a fan of the moves that they have made, the formula that they are using right now with Ryan Helsley to, keep him fresh, or I guess fresher than he had been in previous years, is he's going out there and only throwing the ninth inning, but he's also attacking guys. He is a strikeout pitcher that is getting those outs. I mean, you look how many times he has saves in less than 10 pitches. For a strikeout pitcher, he's still attacking the zone. He's not trying to get you to swing and miss. He's saying, here's my stuff. You're not going to make solid contact off of it if you do hit it, and I'm going to get my 3 outs as quick as possible.
This is Card Sub 365, powered by Gray Bar and sponsored by DraftKings. The crown is yours. The chat getting involved here a little bit. Joe, and a couple of interesting points. First off, we got to give our love to Kyle Leahy. 14 appearances already in April. It is a high amount. Here's the thing that I think is funny. Some people, it feels like in certain situations, have called on Kyle Leahy to be in there even more, saying that there should have been opportunities when Marmol threw him even more. There's been so much picking apart of Oliver Marmol, Joe, for the struggles of this bullpen, when at the end of the day, when half of your bullpen isn't performing, there's only so much that you can do. And I think it is easy to want to lean on guys more when they are having success. But at the same time, you have to remember that it's a 162-game season, and we're in April. We're still in the early parts of it. If you keep going using Leahy at the pace that you have, with how young he is, with how young his arm is, guys, Ryan Fernandez was not, I guess, to the same exact extent used last year to that level, but Ryan Fernandez had never seen that amount of exposure. He ends up having a lot of struggles late in the season in August, September, and October, and now look at him. So I say all that to say, be patient with Kyle Leahy. You have to remember that there's more to just winning games right now. You have to make sure that he is still providing that same quality of innings in the dog days. I think that's extremely important for Cardinals fans to remember right now, Joe.
I'm looking here. So Kyle Leahy, again, he was brought up in the system as a starter and he was a starter last year, or 2 years ago in 2022. In Springfield before getting moved up to Memphis. I'm just kind of looking here. It looks like they moved him to the bullpen last year in Memphis or 2 years ago. So I'm looking last year, 84 innings in 2023, and then across two teams, across the Cardinals and the Redbirds last year, again another 70 some innings, 76 innings. It looks like. Yes, it's 14 games that he's thrown in already. It's 1 inning per game. They are not going to throw him out there every single day to wear his arms tied. Also, on top of that, he's 27 years old. He's not a hot young prospect that you have these future plans for. He's a 27-year-old relief pitcher right now. It's there might be a future for him. If you trade Helsley, maybe he becomes your closer and maybe he closes games out for you. But we're not looking. I don't think the Cardinal organization is looking at Kyle Leahy as a huge part of the rebuild that they have in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point to keep in mind. It's going to be interesting how Oli Marmol continues to navigate this whole bullpen situation. Either way, he's being set up for failure when 3 of your 7-8 guys is having success currently coming into the game in the later innings. Let's hope that today the Cardinals are able to start building upon I guess, an extension of guys that are having success within that bullpen, and we can see them hopefully help carry St. Louis to a win and to a series win. This is
by the way, I'm just quickly before we move on from Leahy, I'm looking at numbers here real quick. Last night threw 18 pitches. Before that, when he threw on Wednesday, it was 9 pitches. The day before that, it was 7 pitches. So they're not over. I mean, it looks like 2. I mean, since the middle of April, I think since he's moved into this role of the 7th inning guy, and you look at where he came into some of these games and what he's done for the team, the pitch count total has started to drop. Early in the season, it was in the 20s. That the pitch count total is now, I mean, just the last few outings, 14, 18, 13, 7, 9, 18. So they are keeping those pitch count numbers low on him to where they're not asking him to go out there and throw all that much. So it does seem like there might be a plan in place right now for Leahy, kind of realizing the importance that he's going to play in this team winning games this year.
Right. And then in my message more so had to do with a reminder to the fans that they are already using him a decent amount, right? You can't be using him more than you are, because you want to make sure that you're preserving him, keeping him in good shape for later in the season. Even if, he may be able to withstand it right now, what if you get yourself into a situation later in the year where if you're using him more than you even are right now, then all of a sudden you're in trouble without a Kyle Leahy at this point in the season. Just a reminder that Cards Up 365 is powered by Gray Bar here in Sports STL, presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code STL Sports. That's code STL Sports for new customers to play $5 to get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings, excuse me. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
This is Cards Hub 365. I am Ethan Hannaford. He is Joe Roderick. Let's go ahead and let's take a look through Ollie Marmol's lineup that will face off against the Milwaukee Brewers at 1:15. Sonny Gray on the bump, by the way, for your St. Louis Cardinals today. And the lineup that he will have trying to defend him looks like so. Lars Nootbaar out in right field. He'll be followed by Wilson Contreras, who is back into that two spot playing at first base. Brendan Donovan in the 3-hole batting, or playing in left field, I should say. In the cleanup spot, Nolan Arenado, he's at the hot corner, DHing today and batting 5th, Nolan Gorman. He'll be followed by Thomas Ajacey, who's back in the lineup and at second base. Pedro Pajes is the backstop today. He's batting 6th. And then Victor Scott in center field. He is followed by Mason Wynn, and that is your St. Louis Cardinals lineup today. Joe, you take a look at this lineup. What do you like? Is there anything that you that stands out to you you're not a fan of?
I do like that Sajasi's back in the lineup. I think everyone has been looking for him to be back in there the last 2 days. It looks like right now, judging by the usage of Nolan Gorman since Mason Wynn has come back, that they are all in right now on Nolan Gorman. They are all in on figuring out where Nolan Gorman falls into this organization. And 2 starts in a row at second, DHing today. You don't see Burleson in the lineup. You don't see Walker in the lineup today. So it's Gorman. I mean, they moved him up to 5th right now. He was hitting 3rd when Donovan wasn't there. They are all in on figuring out what the future is for Nolan Gorman. It was frustrating too when you looked at it, because Thomas Ajacey, the way that he has been hitting for the Cardinals, you needed that in your lineup. Offense that struggled again. You got the win last night, but it was still only three runs in last night's game. This is a team that's been struggling to score runs. And when you have a guy, Thomas Ajacey, that's been hitting for power, hitting over 400, you need that in the lineup. So I imagine this is the first of 2 starts in a row for Thomas Ajacey. You're facing Jose Quintana tomorrow, the lefty. I think that might be a good day to give Nolan Gorman a day off going against the lefty. So I think you see Sajasi there at second today and tomorrow as well.
Do you like the way that ever since Mason Wynn has come back that they have used Nolan Gorman as an everyday player? This is a guy that I don't think there's anyone in this Cardinals organization that they talked about more this offseason about getting the runway that he needed. At one point it was 500, 600 plate appearances this year. Do you like the way that ever since Mason Wynn has returned specifically, they have kept Nolan Gorman in the lineup specifically?
Again, you look back, Ethan, to spring training, and you look back to what the plan was for this team, and essentially Victor Scott II, he outplayed Michael Ciani and took Michael Ciani's starting position. I really think also, Victor Scott II, I think also took Nolan Gorman's position away. I think when you look at how everything played out and the versatility of a guy like Brendan Donovan, I think in the end of it, I think Victor Scott II, he earned his start over Nolan Gorman because Burleson was hitting, Gorman wasn't. And if Gorman was going to be your second baseman, your everyday DH, you needed to find somewhere to get these other guys in. And Victor Scott just hit his way on the team and forced everybody's hand into everything else. So with with Mason Wynn's injury, with the injury to Herrera needing the pop in there, you just kind of hand things over to Gorman. You say, look, we need you to be our power hitter. We need you to replace what Ivan Herrera was giving us. Hasn't happened yet, but it's all there for him. It's there for the taking with Nolan Gorman.
And last thing before we wrap here real quick, Victor Scott continues to hit. Had another hit last night. He was very good on the road trip, specifically in Atlanta, batting now .277, a .735 OPS. And it feels like just about every single time he gets on, whether it be by a base hit or a walk, it seems like he's going to run just about every time that he gets on base. And now we're really starting to see, as his quality of at-bats continue, as he continues to get on base more as the season goes on, how much of a threat he is on the base paths and the extra piece of his game that is going to make him so lethal, hopefully for years to come, and is giving a lot of RBI opportunities to both Mason Wynn in the top of the lineup. So let's hope that continues as well, that Victor Scott II's quality of at-bats continue, because that has most definitely been an encouraging point today. The Cardinals facing off against Quinn Priester, who was 3-6 with a 4.71 ERA in the 2024 season through 3 starts. A promising start for him. Just 14 innings thrown in those 3 starts, but a 1.93 ERA, and he'll look to build off of a 1-0 record. The Brewers lineup, as I look, I don't see is out today, so we won't be able to give that to you. But we are able to give you the information that we know. Let's hope that this Cardinals lineup can produce a little bit more than 3 runs. So that's point number 1. Can continue to get the manufacturing of runs from offense that you have, I would say, here for the past, really for the large majority of the season, Joe. Get production from your bullpen outside of those 3 pieces today, even if they aren't, they end up using a Helsley, perhaps a Leahy, a couple of those guys. Get it from someone else to find something to build positive momentum on with the guys in the bullpen that it's been a challenge of. Let's see if St. Louis can go ahead and get another series win at home today. Looking forward to it. Any final thoughts as we wrap, Joe?
Final thoughts. Brewers in town. Whenever the Brewers are in town now, I want to see fellow Alton High School Redbird alum Brian Hudson get a few innings out of the bullpen. Not in a winning situation for Brian. Sorry, but I'd much rather
damage control today.
Yeah, damage control type of thing. But I do know the Alton baseball team will be out at the game tomorrow, so maybe get out there. Maybe let him have a nice Sunday outing with his former alums out there as well. So that's I do hope to see him pitch. I know he last pitched on Wednesday, so see if he gets some work out of the bullpen today.
Cardinals and Brewers, Sonny Gray, Quinn Priester, first pitch coming your way at 1:15 as St. Louis tries to grab a series win. He is Joe Roderick. I am Ethan Hannaford. This has been Cards Hub 365, powered by Gray Bar here on Sports STL and presented by DraftKings. The crown is yours, and we will see you guys in the postgame.